That's right. Welcome in Jamie, Manti, Mike G, and Kyle. Lots to get to. We have this really tricky balance going on right now. We want to give the Seahawks their flowers and their due. It was parade day yesterday in downtown Seattle. But we also have 31 other teams that we have to tend to and treat them kindly. You know, It's like they don't get the parade. They don't get the Lombardi. We have to answer some of their questions. Manti, are you ready to cook on some 31 other teams besides Seahawks
I'm ready to cook. At the end of the day, Jamie, it's 0-0 now. It's celebrated the Super Bowl. Now we're back to 0-0. We're back to the beginning. Let's build it again. Come on.
All the Seahawks have to regulate today after celebrating in the streets of Seattle yesterday. And we loved watching the speeches that unfolded inside Lumen Field. Of course, one of those went to GM John Schneider, who had an opportunity at the microphone to hand out praise to his team, which, of course, included his running back, who is going to enter free agency next month, but now he's a Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker III. Before John Schneider got into it, he disclosed a bit of information about K9.
Ken Walker being the MVP. Let's go! Woo! He tried negotiating with me 5 minutes ago. It was really weird. Anyway, hey, MVP, MVP, MVP.
He's like, no.
Yeah.
You can't hold up the red Solo cup and say something like that and not have the player respond. I'm just going to direct quote. Must have been the liquor because he drinking because I never said that. Mike Garafolo, do you want to do the crying emoji translation or do you want to actually translate that for us?
I think Kenneth Walker, I don't think he got the joke. I think John was just making a joke. If you know Schneider, it's kind of him all the way to the red Solo cup. He's just joking, Kenneth. And Kenneth just hired new agents. He's with David Canner and Ness McGraby of Arrow Sports, which David then replied to my tweet and said, things that never happened for 200, Alex, or something like
nice.
that. The real, sober, red Solo-less cup negotiations are coming for Kenneth Walker.
No joke for him, dude.
No joke.
His life, his future. Like, I don't be joking. There's a lot of things you can joke about. Like, that's my deal, man. I'm not talking about squat. Like, he dead serious. All of a sudden, the record scratch.
And we interviewed him the other day. Like, his father not showing up to any football games until the Super Bowl. Kenneth is the same kind of mentality. That dude is all business. So I think this, it's actually, I'd like to put them together and do a reality show. That'd be fun. Odd couple, right?
It's like the deadpan scale. Like Kenneth Walker III went real flat, real quick.
Right.
He's like, no, I'm not making any faces about this. And I'm not going to give away any clues. Congratulations once again to Kenneth Walker III. As your new contract, whoever it may be with, has to honor the fact that you are a Super Bowl MVP. But that is a part of a larger conversation that we have to have about trade opportunities, unrestricted free agents, offseason moves that are going to go down. Manti, please bring to the class your most fascinating storyline that you have deemed so entering this offseason.
I look up there. Twins for 7 seasons had 8 of the 9 seasons had a playoff appearance, 2 AFC championships. They move on from him. You know how much the locker room loved him. But then there's the press conference with Mr. Terry Pegula and Brandon Beane and how awkward that got. And then you hired Joe Brady. Now, the thing about Joe Brady is I have experience with Joe Brady. He's a really good dude. I think he has what it takes to be a very, very good offensive play caller in this league. The problem is there's been so many times where a coordinator now becomes a head coach. And when that transition happens, there's sometimes a change in approach and personality. And that's difficult for a coach because you're talking about guys that have known you for years already, right? We know Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator. We know Joe Brady as a guy that's always with the offense. But now you have to stand in front of a locker room in front of a meeting room of 53 others and command that. I immediately think of Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen was our defensive coordinator in New Orleans, and then he became the head coach. And there was just a hard transition there. Now, Joe Brady did say, I can't wait to talk crap to Josh Allen. My question is this, is Josh Allen, when you start talking crap to him, going to look at you and be like, Joe, just stop. Like, that's not what you do. Just stop. I understand that this is your job now. This is your title as a head coach, but just stop. I think Joe understands that he has to be authentically himself, and that's going to be something that he's going to have to balance in his first bout as a head coach. So out of all the storylines, that is probably one of the most fascinating storylines for me, Mike G.
I'm looking at a guy we talked about in the last couple of days here because Clint Kubiak announced as the new head coach of the Raiders, Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby, to me, is a fascinating storyline this offseason. It's got the potential to be a Micah Parsons type thing where this lingers for a couple of months here and could go in any one of a number of directions, including potentially staying with the Raiders. You've got a great player and one that has been playing particularly hard the last couple of years, despite the fact that there haven't been any meaningful games. He played one playoff game in his career, and he's had now, if he plays for Clint Kubiak, actually regardless, whoever he plays for next is going to be his 7th head coach in 6 years, including the interim coach.
That's awesome.
You know how Jalen Hurts, he's had a new offensive coordinator every year. We do that with all those guys. Like coordinators, 8 in 7 years or whatever. These are head coaches for a great player.
Sure.
And the reason I find it fascinating is it's almost a be careful what you wish for type situation because I don't know where you could wind up potentially as Maxx Crosby that could then guarantee what you're looking for, which is postseason success. I'd expect the Eagles, who made a potential play for Micah Parsons, although the Cowboys were never going to do it, I would expect the Eagles to be in the mix here for Maxx Crosby. What's that situation in Philly, right? Like, are you guaranteed to make the playoffs in Philadelphia? I have no idea. And there are a number of other teams that he's been connected to and could be connected to. There's also the Clint Kubiak. I had coffee with him the other day. It fired me up. Could I potentially just settle him and say, look, I know it's restarting again, but we're getting the number 1 overall pick, which is expected to be a quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, and we can get this thing going quickly. Can they sell him on staying where he is currently? It's a non-0% chance in my mind. Probably lower than 50, but it's just there are so many reasons why I find this fascinating, including Crosby sort of scoffing at anybody out there, including me potentially right now, talking about his future.
Well, we're going to talk about that future a lot. And I just have to look at the recent past. We're talking about the future. Did we really have a Final Four where 3 of the 4 quarterbacks had never won a playoff game coming into this season? That was weird, guys. Mm-hmm. We had Stafford, like Unk, and then it's Darnold and it's Drake, and then we had the Bo Nix / Jared Stidham. My question is there a return of the mega powers next year? Is it more like, all right, that was a really strange year, but come on, Mahomes, let's get Allen deep in the playoffs, let's get Lamar deep in the playoffs, let's get Burrow back. Is it going to be that? Because there's this thing where that sneaky, not sneaky really, shiny 2024 draft class just isn't going away. Like, I don't think Drake May and the Mike Vrabel Patriots are going away. I don't think Caleb is going away. Jane Daniels did go away, but I think he's coming back. Like, there's those guys, that new class, they're like pushing out the veterans to try to get their positions on the varsity. So I just look at these. Who has the biggest show me year? Is it Josh Allen with the new coach? Is it Mahomes off the injury and off the worst season they've had? Is it Lamar? I have to point out Deontay Lee, who wrote a piece for The Ringer, saying Lamar now is like where Peyton was in the mid-2000s, where it's like, all I need is a Super Bowl from you. I'm not interested in anything else. You've done it all. And I'd say the same for Josh Allen, all those guys. Just like, we know you're good, but we're so far into your career now that we have to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of your prime. Like, show us a Super Bowl and show it to us now. Or maybe we do start looking for some of those young up-and-comers who many of them have been, if not closer than you have been. So I want to know if the new guard is in next year or if it's really the old guys saying, wait. And the fact that I'm even referring to Lamar Jackson as one of the old guys is nuts. But he really is in comparison.
It's interesting, though, to include Joe Burrow in some of those VOs because, Kyle, do you have to honor the fact that it has to be a Super Bowl win, or do you take Burrow off that Lamar and Josh list because they haven't even made it to one? So Burrow gets there in his second year against the Rams, but he loses. Do you feel like he's lower on the list in terms of requirements to establish that in their career?
Well, everything there is just so weird in Cincinnati. It's the defense, the future. They thought they would maybe have a new coach. They don't. I'll give them this. They have really good, really expensive wide receivers. So that's fun because it's really good in the Pro Bowl game because he throws to his receivers all the time to score touchdowns. I would love to see them in a playoff game this year. So I do include him in. No points for getting to a Super Bowl as a young guy and losing, not when you're Burrow's talents. Like that's a guy, if Joe Burrow doesn't win a Super Bowl in his career, That's a great shame, as good as he is.
The one guy I was thinking about this last week is Mahomes.
Yeah.
What was he thinking watching everything, watching all of this,
Bizarre.
watching a Super Bowl that he's not in, while starting on an ACL rehab? Now, the great ones really can internalize a lot of things and can also invent a lot of things in their head. I'm sure even Michael Jordan had some they doubted us type moments along the way. I'm sure Mahomes is putting that in his mind right now to help fuel himself for the recovery. I would love to have spent just one day last week during Super Bowl week with Patrick Mahomes, sitting in on his recovery, because you know what's happening in his brain, and you know how everything that he's experienced over the last couple of weeks here is going to fuel a potential return in 26.
I keep thinking of, you guys list off all these things. Buffalo, you mentioned the Chiefs. We have like these two divisions in the South, in the AFC and the NFC, that we just never talk about when it comes to fascinating. Does anything ping there, whether it be the fact that, Jackson, you're nodding at something. Go.
I really think that what is coming out of the AFC South, with Robert Saleh going down there to Tennessee, you saw what Liam Cohen was able to do at Jacksonville. You already know what's going down in Houston. I mean, for the first half of the season, Indianapolis was the hottest team in the NFL.
Right.
I think that going into next year, the AFC South is going to be one of those divisions that I'm going to have my eyes on. Why? Because now you have a whole bunch of quality coaches there. You have a bunch of young talent as far as the offense and some of the best defensive play down there in that division. And you got Liam Cohen, specifically with what they do at Jacksonville in his first year as a head coach, as a first-year offensive coordinator, first-year defensive coordinator. To do what they did over there, I thought that the Jacksonville Jaguars were pretty dangerous going into this playoff. Now it's their inexperience showed against a really good Buffalo Bills team. But going into year two, how do they build off of that? I think that AFC South division, Mike G, is going to be one to watch out for.
I'll give you your NFC South storyline. How about the Falcons and their quarterback situation right now with Michael Penix coming off another ACL injury? I mentioned this on NFL Game Day morning on Sunday. I'm not ruling out a potential return of Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. I'd expect there at least to be conversations, because even though that contract was structured so he's a free agent early, and there are a lot of seats around the league, including potentially up there in Minnesota for him to fill, it sort of makes a lot of sense for both sides, because Penix is not expected to be ready before the start of the season, might not be ready before the start of the season here. And Cousins played some winning football down the stretch. And one of the teams that did inquire about a potential trade with the Falcons last year was the Browns. Head coach at the time, Kevin Stefanski, I'm told he was a big part of that inquiry early on. The Falcons shut it down. It became clear that they weren't going to trade Cousins. But now Stefanski's the coach with the Atlanta Falcons, with Matt Ryan, by the way, who knows a lot about quarterbacking, now overseeing the football operations. That's a fascinating storyline to me.
Well, and I was going to reference, I thought you were going to say seats at the table on TV, because Kirk Cousins showing promise as a broadcaster.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And Matt Ryan now evacuates his, and now all these musical chairs. Eventually we'll see Cousins on TV, but I'm sure he wants to play a little bit longer, because he's Kirk Cousins, and that's what he does.
Hey, best in the world, Sam Darnold. Mike McDonald, it don't matter. Best defense in the world. Hey, we had one goal, and that was to bring this home. And that's what we did to the best fans in the world. This is for y'all. Love.
It takes the whole community to push in the right direction to get to this point. And I appreciate y'all. And, hey, we not done. We coming back next year.
JSN, your coach's name is Mike McDonald. He's like, wait, it'll come. I got it. It's my quarterback and Mike McDonald. Well done, JSN. I think you might be my MVP. From the celebrated Super Bowl champion Seahawks parade yesterday, the day started with a trophy celebration at Lumen Field. My God, was that the start of the day? Then they got on the floats and they paraded through downtown. I hope so. Mike G, do you have an MVP from all the footage that we saw that has a bunch of landmines in it, by the way, from the Seahawks championship parade?
Well, speaking of those landmines, Steve Rabel, the voice of the Seahawks, the radio play-by-play guy, he's honorable mention for me, because some of his expressions, like when Ernest Jones goes off there and you see, he did it. So his facial expressions there the whole time. Reminded me of Harry Callis, the legendary Phillies announcer, who Chase Utley dropped an F-bomb way back, and he's standing. It's like, it's like your grandfather's right there next to these guys cussing up and down. So honorable mention to Steve Rabel. MVP for me, though, John Schneider. No question about it. I've never seen a general manager step up to the microphone with a red Solo cup in his hand, and we know what was in it. Probably the contents of that can right there in his left hand. What's up, Trace? That's his wife, Tracy. Those two are a party, by the way, every single year at the league meeting.
Fun.
You coming this year, Arizona, Kyle?
I don't think so.
You want to go hang out with the Schneiders?
I'd love to hang out with the Schneiders. I'd love to.
That is a party, and that's on a normal day. I can't even imagine what yesterday was like. So John Schneider for me. That was the full John Schneider experience. You could tell. I'm all about it.
Mike G, you bring up a great point. Kyle, I should pitch that you should do the coaches breakdown of the head coach's picture, but do it live.
Live.
Like make them stand up there, and then the footage is just you walking around and pointing at everybody. I think we're onto something here.
Thank you, Jamie. It's occurred to me before. It's possible there might be an issue of funding. I would only have to guess, but I probably...
No. We're good now.
Is that right?
Here?
I don't know if that's
April
true,
1st.
Mike G, you mentioned...
I don't know about that.
You mentioned John Schneider. Now, that was John Schneider's second Super Bowl, but that was also somebody else's second Super Bowl. It was Cooper Kupp. My MVP goes to Cooper Kupp, a guy that went up there. He didn't cuss. He didn't swear or anything, but he did make a Goodwill Hunting reference, and I'd love for you guys to hear what he had to say.
How about them apples, huh? Hey, thank you guys for embracing a couple kids from Eastern Washington, from Yakima and Tri-Cities. I appreciate you all.
First, we did not care.
I just love Coop. He's just like that grandfather, you know what I mean? He's like, hey, I've been here before. Like, I'm from Washington. I'm from Yakima. But he also dropped a bar. He said, we embrace a style that nobody wanted to play. And then he pointed to the fans and said, and you guys made it a stadium that nobody wanted to come to.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a veteran guy that goes up there, thanks the fans. Obviously, he's from Washington, and then drops that bar, doesn't need to cuss, do all of those things. And then he does drop a Goodwill Hunting little bar over there, KB. And so I was like, man, that's such a GF Meppi style. So my MVP goes to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I was wondering about the Goodwill Hunting, too. So I know there's apples in Washington, but that Goodwill Hunt, how about them apples is a Boston reference?
Well,
is it because they beat the Patriots? Or just...
Yeah, Yakima's an apple. It's like it's an apple town, I guess.
There's little subtleties in there, KB.
Yeah.
It was
You can't blame him for the Goodwill Hunting. You'd be like, no, Yakima's an apple town.
Yeah.
So, how about them apples? But really, we know
Also, when did Cooper Kupp become 48 years old? Did this happen overnight? Like, I swear he was like this youthful guy running around catching passes, and he still plays like it, but he gets up there, like Manti's calling him like the grandfather. So for some reason, he became like Obi-Wan Kenobi overnight. There's always one guy who you can point to who is kind of the J.R. Smith of the. Remember when J.R. Smith didn't wear a shirt for like a week after the Cavs won? A.J. Barner had a role in this, and he had like a fantastic jacket or coat like this. By the way, we all owe him a debt because he scored a touchdown finally, and he was the first guy to score in this game. He's like he's cosplaying Jared Allen here, and he looks great. I love the hat. I love the jacket, and I love the strut. Get me what he's having. Like, he is down con la gente, interacting. He looks like he's not necessarily on this planet. Like, AJ, have yourself some fun. Some of us watch these parades, and we've never been in one, never will be in one. We kind of envision what we would be like if we were in one. I want to be that guy who's like one of his teammates has to come grab him and make sure he stays on the parade route. Like AJ might have wandered off somewhere. It's a fantastic jacket. It's a fantastic hat. And again, we sat through like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour slog, including the entire halftime show until we got to a touchdown in this game. And A.J. Barner scored it for us. Look at him just going bottoms up with that thing. Absolutely beautiful. That's how I'd spend my parade. A.J., you get my game ball.
I think if we keep watching that, A.J., you're going to catch a video. You're going to catch a glimpse of the shirt he has underneath that fire coat, which is, I believe guys are wearing this shirt because it's the Marlboro Man, which is Sam Darnold's grandfather.
Yeah.
So,
Dick Hammer.
Yes. Yeah. So, again, to review.
And he also has that iced out chain. I think that's a chain he got in
his hand?
Bud Light iced out chain thing. And that boy,
shout out to Sam Darnold, one of the 4 original Marlboro men.
Yep.
And they all had the Darnold grandpa shirt on, which is awesome. We love it. which is why Sam Darnold looks so casual and cavalier having this cigar. Like, he knows. It's in his genetic code. That's how he knows how to celebrate. Well done, A.J. Barner. I'm going back to the Jackson Smith and Jigba bite.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome. Like, that's a happy friend at the end of the night. You know, like he just likes, I love everybody, and we love you too, JSN. All right, next up on GMFB, we are going to take you football adjacent because, right, is that what we're doing? Are we moving on GMFB, or are we going to keep? Okay, we got to keep looking at the Seahawks social from yesterday because they keep celebrating. We want to hear from the players and the coaches and how we always say on GMFB, just stack wins. Well, the Seahawks did so, but visually.
Oh, that's cool.
They have this hat rack, or, oh my God, it looks like look at that thing at the top. It's like an arrow.
It's an arrow.
It's like a spear.
A spear, there we go.
Yep.
Mike G, two questions. What are your thoughts on this? And how can the Seahawks accomplish this same statue next season? And, oh no, I don't even want to say the word repeat. We're not doing that. Mike G, go.
Yeah, has that helmet been impaled?
Yes.
Am I
Yes.
seeing that correctly?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring me their head on a stake.
Yes.
I think it's head on a plate. Head on a stake was Heart of Darkness. That's a different one, which then became Apocalypse Now.
Correct.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Yeah. What was the other question? Oh, right. How did the Seahawks top this? Double 2008 Phillies reference here. Going to go back to
There
it.
you go.
Because that is the only professional championship of my Philadelphia rooting career, because I can't root for the Eagles now. So it's sort of like where were these championships when I was living and dying with this team as a fan years ago? Whatever. So the Phils winning in 08. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays. And it was like, that's great. Awesome. Finally got a championship. First one since 1983. The following year, they play the Yankees. And they lose to the Yankees. CC, friend of the show, just kills them in that series. And it was this sort of like, well, I'd rather have beat the Yankees. Not the least of which is I live in the New York market, so I've got Yankee fan friends. My best friend, I didn't talk to him for a week and a half.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, he sent me a text as they were celebrating. I love you, pal. Yeah, I love you too. We hadn't talked in a week and a half. So it was horrible. It almost sort of like, So for the Seahawks next year, you got to beat the big dogs, the ones that you had referenced, Kyle, in the previous block of the show here, the Patrick Mahomeses, the Josh Allens, and something like that. Like, because you may look back at this and say, well, they beat that Patriots team that fattened up their record against this.
Drake May was the Rays of this equation?
Yeah.
Is it Drake Ray?
Yeah, Drake Rays. There you go.
Drake Ray.
You know,
Rays.
if you come back and how do they top it? You know, you come back and you beat one of these guys. You go, okay, all right. See, the Seahawks team is legit, and they're, you know, you can't take that championship away from them. Like Bill Parcells said, Manti, nobody can ever say you didn't because you did, right? So you don't take it away, but you're asking me how do they top it? Beat one of these guys and prove that it's that much better for you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult. Why? Because kind of alluding to what Mike G just said about those guys, you become now those guys. Right now, you went from being the hunter, now you're the hunted. Like whenever you win a Super Bowl, you're that logo that's on everybody's pre-draft board. It's like, how do I beat or become that team? Mm-hmm. And so you're now in the crosshairs. It's easier to kind of rise up when nobody has you in their scopes. Like everybody's trying to figure out, how do I beat Josh Allen? How do I beat Patrick Mahomes? How do I beat this Eagles defense? How do I do all of these things? Now, guess what, Seattle? You've now entered into this equation of how do I beat these guys? Just like how the Chiefs were, just like how the Patriots were before them, just like how the Niners were in the 80s and 90s and the Steelers in the 70s. You are the riddle that people are trying to break now. Not only are you the riddle that people are trying to break now, there are 31 other teams trying to duplicate what you're doing. And so you're the recipe that everybody's trying to follow. People are going to start hiring people from your coaching staff to get a taste of that. So you are now the focal point. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Not that they can't do it again. They have all the talent in the world to do it. They have the pieces. They have the head coach. They have the general manager. But now people are trying to duplicate you. Now people are trying to zone in on that, KB. So how do they repeat? They continue to do what they're doing. However, understanding that you are now the piece that people are trying to figure out.
I'll tell you what, that Seahawks social media is ready for a dynasty. Give me back that spear. That thing is so metal. This is really intense. I'm reminded, this to me, it's like trophies that they've mounted. And Mike, you're on the right track. I'm reminded of many different movies whereby some creature's head is like on a spike. Ned Stark was on a spike. The Riders of Rohan put Uruk-hai's head on a spike. you know how the Predator collects spines? Like he's like a hunter basically, and she wants trophies. This is that dark and that metal, and the fact that someone somehow scurried up there on a ladder or did something and took a Patriots helmet and slammed it down and impaled the spike right through it is so heavy metal and so medieval, and it's completely justified. You can do whatever you want. There's very few things you can do on social media where someone won't be like, hey, that's inappropriate, that crosses the line, blah, blah, blah. You look at this, you're like, Seahawks, talk yo bleep. Do whatever the hell you want. Look at that Rams helmet. It's got a special shine on it, too. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful monument. It should never leave. In fact, this should be the new Lombardi Trophy. That's my take. That's an incredible thing. They should have carried this through the streets of Seattle, like so many skulls of their vanquished enemies, and just walk through the city like this, through Pike Place Market, like just holding that thing. Unbelievably cool and just completely badass. So Seattle social media, A+.
The only thing I'm disappointed about is that somebody, to Kyle's point, didn't have it up on the stage yesterday and was like walking around with it with like a cane.
AJ Barner should have had it.
So if we look at it one more time, this thing wasn't like purchased at Home Goods. And like, here's a helmet rack. There are screws through the backs of those helmets. And guys, those are like the real helmets in which they beat that day. So like you have the two different 49ers colors at the top. The Rams helmets didn't change. Like those are
Saints
not mini
helmet on the bottom.
Yep.
And then you have that desert one that the Cardinals wore.
Look at the throwback Cardinals.
Yeah, you got those ones. So they were very specific.
Did they go on to the visiting team equipment bus and like take one of these helmets? This is for our spike. Let it happen. And so it must be for the Seahawks social media team. Well done.
Well done.
Come on. You shall not pass the Seahawks until next year. Well done, Seahawks. Look at that. Those are not mini helmets. That thing went right through. Woo!
Bravo.
Now just put Ken Walker's contract on top, too. See if we can do that.
That's right. GMFB on a Thursday. Welcome in, everybody. Jamie, Manti, Mike G, and Kyle. No pleasantries because we have 3 throwdowns. I want to make sure we have time for every single one of them in this first segment. Okay. We also have a current Seattle Seahawk coming on the show this hour. So that's a little tease. And once he joins, and we got to get right to him. So here we go. The Seahawks parade went down yesterday, and the 12s were having all sorts of fun. And a normally reserved Sam Darnold was even more hyped than usual.
Yeah, 12s! Yeah, I just want to say I've talked a lot this last week about belief. A lot of people, didn't believe in me, but it didn't matter because the ones that are close believed in me, including y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. That short list also includes Jody Allen, John Schneider, Mike McDonald, man. I appreciate the belief y'all had in me for signing me this past year. And last but certainly not least, these players, man, for believing in me. Can we give it up one more time for this defense?
That was so perfectly Sam Darnold. He's like, 1 million of you 12s, you got my back, but the short list is actually Jody Allen, Mike McDonald. That's a very long list, Sam, of people that believed in you, rightfully so. Congratulations to Seattle once again, celebrating their Super Bowl win. Now, here comes the throwdown. We've talked a lot about Sam Darnold's journey. We've talked a lot about this Seahawks defense. When all is said and done, what do you think the Seattle championship season will be remembered for truly? Is it Sam Darnold finally getting the monkey off his back, or this dominating Seattle defense, Manti?
As far as Sam Darnold getting that monkey off of his back, I don't think, as when you're a great player, when you're somebody that has a lot of attention, you're always going to have that monkey on your back. The great thing for Sam is you also have a Lombardi on your back, too. So when I look at this season, a lot of it has to go towards that defense. Every offensive player, whether it be Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cooper Kupp, at the end of their speeches, they all mentioned the defense. They all mentioned the dark side. So if I look at this run, the most dominating force, not only for the Seattle Seahawks, but the most dominating force in the entire NFL would have to be the Seattle Seahawks defense. That was the unit that everybody was trying to figure out, hey, how do we get yardage on this defense? How do we beat this defense? So, Mike G, in short, Sam Darnold, I think they're going to remember his journey, overcoming a lot of adversity, self-belief, but then just that defense and the dominance at which they played, not only in the Super Bowl, but throughout the season.
I'm going to make a bowling analogy here. When you bowl the strike in, let's say, the first frame, right? What's your score for that frame? You don't know until you get the next couple.
Mike, that's a great call.
Oh, great job, Mike.
I think you get the defense here that could potentially, like early in the season, we weren't talking about this as one of the all-time great defenses, but they really turned it up as the season went along, and that potential can extend into 26 and 27. This could be a great defense for a couple of years. What you don't have for Sam Darnold right now, and no disrespect to Sam Darnold, there were some incredible late-game moments earlier in the season into the game against the Rams, the overtime game, but you didn't have that Super Bowl moment. You didn't have Patrick Mahomes with the wasp play to Tyreek Hill, and that's what you kind of need in that game to be like, oh, that was the Sam Darnold Super Bowl. That was the Sam Darnold putting the team on his back. You didn't have that here. Again, no disrespect. Made some great throws in that game, made some great throws throughout the postseason. There was one to JSN in the NFC Championship game. No disrespect, but if you're asking me how I'm remembering it, I'm leaning defense right now.
I think you make a great point, and I felt this way after the game, too, about the Sam Darnold story. We didn't get this Disney ending. He was literally at Disney, but we didn't get the Disney ending. It wasn't like, you're right, there was no seminal moment. There was no, we're going to be watching this over and over. I mean, he threw a touchdown pass to A.J. Barner at the end in a game that felt like it was already over.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be about Sam Darnold, also because Sam Darnold didn't make it about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was so locked into his stance and what he was going to talk about and not talk about and just being true to himself. There was no, how do you like me now? There was no glib remark about the Jets. He wouldn't do it and wouldn't go there. So we don't have the soundbite. We don't have the highlight. We don't have the way we catalog all these things is like the stuff that Mike just showed. Oh, and everyone will always remember this moment that Sam Darnold did this and Steve Young with the monkey off. It didn't happen. I think I'll remember it as the defense. I mean, we went into halftime, guys, 9-0. And we were having real conversations into that game about, are we going to see a Super Bowl shutout? And most of us thought we were. That's defense. That's not Sam Darnold. It's the defense. And to Mike's point, if this defense gets to another one, then you start having the real conversation about are they one of the all-timers. But for now, I think we'll remember the defense, and I think we'll remember Bad Bunny. Next.
What I will remember from this segment is I really don't understand how bowling scoring works. What?
It's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You don't know until you
Doesn't
don't
have to
bowl
What's
be
with the
done
10th frame? I don't get that either.
I don't get that either.
Yeah.
Get a third ball at the end, whatever. Okay. Yesterday.
It's great that the machines do it for you now. You don't have the overhead projector anymore.
Pencil.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Yesterday on GMFB, Whiteboard Wednesday brought a question to the table, which is which sequel didn't live up to the hype of the first one, right? So let's review bad movie sequels, and then we're going to get into the second thread on Thursday. Is there a movie franchise where the sequel didn't quite live up to the original?
Go find your Oracle, The Matrix.
I'm also going Keanu.
The Matrix was such a classic movie to me.
Speed 2, baby. Hear me out.
Neo, red pill, blue pill.
Instead of a bus, it's going to be on a cruise ship.
Going to Morpheus.
For me, it's Anchorman.
And becoming the one.
I don't even remember anything.
Him stopping the bullets.
Chicken of the Cave. Remember the?
No, I don't remember anything.
Do you remember the scene when they over the bus?
No.
Deep fryer?
No, I don't remember anything. Do you remember?
No. No Keanu, no bus. See you later.
It's a good look back. It was a good look back, and it was really well done by everybody yesterday on Whiteboard Wednesday, but we're GMFB. We like to keep things positive, okay?
Yeah.
Here's the throwdown. What is the better movie sequel? Is it Empire Strikes Back or Manti Terminator 2?
I'm going to go Empire Strikes Back. And this is why I'm going to go Empire Strikes Back. My father was a big dude in quotes, and whether it be scriptures, whether it be lyrics, and I swear it's do or do not, there is no try. It's something my father would tell me whenever we would train, whenever he would sit me down in the living room as a young man. It's like, son, do or do not. There is no try. You're either going to get your Eagle Scout or you're not. There is no try. You're either going to be great at football or not. There is no try. So I got to go Empire Strikes Back because of all of those lines in that movie that I swear my dad was able to rehearse for me at opportune times in my childhood and in my upbringing to help, structure me the way he wanted to. I wish I was a Skywalker.
Manti, it's a fantastic answer. Sound judgment, and we appreciate it. I feel like the pressure cooker is going to lie in New York City, though. Mike G, I look forward to your answer. I'm not sure I've ever anticipated an answer out of Kyle Brandt more than this one. This is a pickle that Kyle is in.
I got to be honest. I'm watching his body language. I don't think he's there yet. So
I'm in anguish.
I'm going to stall.
Buy him some time.
Stall.
I'm going to stall. Give him more. I'll start by saying Manti referencing his father in reference to Empire Strikes Back. Sounds like your relationship with your father was less complicated than Anakin and Luke, which is a good thing. Really, that's great that you didn't have to experience.
I know that was my father.
I'm going to go T2. There you go. Yes, right. Exactly. You knew the whole time. I'm going to go T2 here. Listen, I'm going to get. Hey. Oh, I was just about to do the old man glasses thing. Listen, kids. It's fine. No, stay with it. Stay with the images here, because it's too late now. We're all over the place. It's T2. Listen, kids. You've got your AI videos today, and you can't tell, is it AI or is it real? You folks have no idea how mind-blowing the effects were in Terminator 2 at that. I'm sorry, Kyle.
No, you're right. I mean, I don't
want to make it worse for you.
You're so right.
This was. I mean, we started with the CGI and the computer effects, and but this took it to another level. It was unbelievable. So I got to go Terminator 2 on this one. And I just remember watching it thinking, this is unlike anything I have ever seen before.
Yeah. Jamie, as you know, I have a son and a daughter. Why don't you just go ahead and ask me which one I like more? And I'll just say it right here on camera. That's what you've presented me with today. I mean, look. Oh, my God. The beginning of Empire Strikes Back, the Hoth system, an unprecedented saga in and of itself. The beginning of Terminator 2. I don't know if you understand that at the point in the theater, we didn't know that Arnold was a savior and a protector in this movie. It's only revealed when he withdraws the shotgun from the rose box and says, "Get down." And you're like, oh, my God. He's protecting John Connor. That was held a secret. You didn't. That is a full mind blower. Think about the females in these movies. Leia becoming a true leader and taking up arms in Cloud City. It's a total transformation from her role in Episode 4. Sarah Connor, a massive transformation from literally a waitress in T1 to the warrior of the future. Incredible arc. The end. You think, oh, my gosh, how do you compare with Episode 5 and I Am Your Father and Luke loses his hand and they're standing there and Hans is in carbonite. Hans in carbonite. The end of T2. We just stopped the World War. He's doing the damn thumbs up. Everybody's crying. It's unfathomable that you'd have to pick between these, and yet I will. Episode 5, Empire Strikes, little slow in the middle, just a little slow. The Dagobah sequence, when the Minox are chewing on the power cables, like it just slows down a little. I do think, though, that the highs of Empire Strikes Back, the apex, are just a little higher than T2, which is blasphemy coming out of my mouth because T2 is one of the best movies ever made. Here's my conclusion, okay? I think Terminator 2 is slightly more watchable. It's a little more popcorn. It's a little easier on the palate. I think The Empire Strikes Back is a better movie because the highs are a little bit higher. The Hoth sequence is unbelievable. The first saber fight between Vader and Luke, even before the revelation, is none of this like Liam Neeson and this fully choreographed Cirque du Soleil stuff. It's just, it's just visceral, and it takes you there. So I think The Empire Strikes Back. I just lost like 5 pounds during this argument. I'm exhausted right now.
Kyle, I'm sure
I think The Empire Strikes Back is slightly better than Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry to James Cameron. I love you, Linda Hamilton and Arnold and Eddie Furlong and Robert Patrick. I love all of you so much. I feel like I just took something from you. But it's The Empire Strikes Back. At least you're losing to another 1 seed.
I know Kyle feels like he just answered the question, but I'm not sure he did. I feel like you did honor them both.
Yeah, that was a great job.
Somehow what we just witnessed for the last 3 minutes is the exact opposite of what went down yesterday. And this is the third throwdown that I'm referencing here on GMFB. There was something we experienced something yesterday on television, which you're not supposed to have, which is dead air. And Kyle Brandt executed it beautifully yesterday. Kyle, actually, you were the follow-up performance this week because Chris Collinsworth laid dead air on us at the Super Bowl over the weekend. Let's take a look, and we're going to compare the two.
I am fascinated by the Joe Brady hire. Yeah. I think he's going to do a good job. The question is, will he do a great job?
Kyle, you gonna go?
Who's next?
You
know what? I was sitting here thinking about Mike's words. That was a 40-second pregnant pause. And after further delay, I gave you my answer. I can't wait for the second tee up.
Jamie, it's your turn.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Don't play dead air chicken with me. I'll sit here for 60 straight seconds and look at the camera.
Ill-advised throw in the middle. Julian Love has it. Love 50. Love 40 and out of bounds.
I've got nothing for you here.
I got nothing for you here. Sometimes people say let them hear the moment. I really think Collinsworth just really had nothing. So, Manti, who did it better, Kyle or Collinsworth?
Okay, so for Collinsworth, in our broadcasting boot camp, they always say when you do color commentating that you should let a play breathe, a moment breathe.
Yeah.
And so there was an extra amount of time that Collinsworth kind of let it sit there, but the way that Kyle kind of navigated that whole thing,
So annoying.
like, I hate it.
I know.
I hated how Kyle can take a very, very uncomfortable situation and then weave it into his point. It just frustrates the crap out of me.
Yep.
Like, I got to give it to Kyle. The Big Goose just knows how to cook. Even when he doesn't have the right ingredients, sometimes it still comes out beautiful. I'm just like, how the heck do you do that, Oos? So I got to give it to the Big Goose.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go Chris Collinsworth only because that sets up Kyle to break the tie between himself
Great job, Mike.
and Chris Collinsworth. So I'm creating great TV. I will make a point, though. Collinsworth saying that he had nothing was sort of illustrating the point, right?
Yeah.
Here we are in the Super Bowl. How does that throw happen? And one of the things that I marvel about every single week, I think NBC does it better than anybody, is the play is over, and within 5 seconds, Collinsworth knows what he wants to talk about, and they've got the close-up exactly of what he wants to. Like, I want to talk about the left tackle here. Boom. It's like they had a meeting hours before and said, hey, after this play, I'm going to talk about have that ISO for me ready to go. They didn't have it there. And he didn't have his point yet, but again, that almost speaks to the moment of how in the world did that throw just happen in the middle of the Super Bowl?
I agree. This is easy. It's Collinsworth. And also, he goes under the if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Anybody else might have had this really scathing takedown of the Drake May throw, and Chris is like, nah, I'm not, there's nothing I can possibly say here. You know how difficult it is for people in that position to say that they have nothing to say? And it was incredibly relatable. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great call from Collinsworth. I will point out this about my particular thing there. I think it's pretty interesting, and I think it's a great compliment to all of us that on a remote-based show, it is so rare and unique that we have a long pregnant pause that we actually have to stop and be like, wow, I can't believe that actually happened. Let's make a whole bit about the fact that there was a pause. And I would go toe-to-toe with any remote-done show, sports show, politics show, anything show that has fewer pauses than us. I don't think that one of them exists. We have a chemistry remotely, and when we started doing this setup, it was, I don't know, how are you going to do the show remote? Oh, you might have to move to Los Angeles. Well, that ain't going to happen, and I can promise you this, we figured it out. We make this work every single morning. It's so crazy that there's a misfire that everyone's like, wow, we actually had a miscommunication amidst the chemistry. Let's stop and make a whole bit about it. That's how rare it is, and I think we deserve credit for that.
Only took like 19 months or so.
Yeah,
good.
We got there. Yeah, got there.
We play conversational Frogger on this show, and we almost always get across the traffic.
Yeah.
All right, that's how that works
on the
here
log.
at GMFB.
Hurry up. Get on the log.
I too give my gold medal to Kyle in the dead air Olympics.
Yeah.